This hour is brought to you by Jeremy Temple Law Office of Bloomington. Personal injury, criminal, business, whatever you need, Jeremy Temple Law Office will get you taken care of.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Well, come on, welcome aboard Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary, of course, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals. Welcome in here on this Wednesday, April 1st, April Fool's Day. We're going to try not to fool you about anything today.
Yeah, there ain't even anything. He can't even make up a joke.
I saw somebody, I forget who it was, that said somebody's going to make a bad mistake on April Fool's Day tomorrow. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah,
that's probably true.
That's probably true. It's like, who is going to be the idiot?
Somebody with no social filter is gonna make. It's
not going to be me. I can promise you that. I'm going to take a pass this year on that.
Inappropriate.
Welcome aboard. Appreciate you joining us here on the beat. Mo Creek's going to join us today, former Hoosier. He got him back from over across the pond, made it back. Also, Taylor Lehman from the Hoosier.com Rivals. Make sure you go to the Hoosier.com. Sign up. It's free. Lots of new content going to be heading that way. We're going to make a big announcement on that soon. But see, who was it? Nick Westbrook, Raekwon Jones, Simon Stepanak, both met with the reporters yesterday. We talked to those guys as they're trying to – they're in limbo. Those are three guys, Todd, that are looking to move to that next level, play in the NFL, the draft, and all this stuff. And, man, it's difficult when you're the guys that are I don't want to call them friends, but, down in that third, fourth, fifth round, you need all the help you can get, and this is not helping anybody. You can't work out. You can't show yourself. It's like you can't do anything. And I know it's the same for everybody, but that doesn't matter it wouldn't matter to me about anybody else. It's affecting – you can't do anything about it. And it's got to be so difficult, and I don't know. It's
the frustration just has to be ridiculous because and this is like I enjoy watching this part of it. When you watch the NFL and you see them talk about when they do the introductions at the beginning. You see the linemen, the defensive backs, and a lot of these guys. They don't all come from Alabama and Clemson and Ohio State and places like that. I mean, there's a lot of these guys that come from real small schools, and a lot of them aren't even Division I, and they're guys that go and have something to prove, and they go work out for a team. I think that's probably what New Orleans Saints and the New England Patriots and those teams have been so good at finding those little hidden gems over the years, and those are the guys who are going to suffer the most. The guys who are going to get drafted in the first and second round, I mean, they probably, they might slip or move up, a couple of picks here and there, but they're going to get drafted no matter what. It's those guys in the fourth, fifth, sixth round that, they're the ones that are going to suffer the most from something like this and not have that opportunity to go beat out, go show them what they can do and go beat someone out of a position.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And some bigger news, it looks like hearing that Demezy Anderson, the first IU commitment out of South Bend since 1972 when Tom Abernathy committed, I'm hearing he may be in the transfer portal. I'm trying to get that confirmed, but
Did that just come out?
Yeah, seriously, literally just was sent to me. But if that is the truth, and I don't know that it is yet until we get that confirmed, but that wouldn't be a shocker. So
I mean, it wouldn't be a shocker for sure. It's
are you serious, Tim? If you're Tim now saying it's April Fool's joke, if it is, that's not going to be funny.
Well, there
you go.
Number one.
There you go. You're on number one on the list.
Is he the one that sent you the information to start?
Yes.
And then sent you the April Fools?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He gets a 1-day ban. He gets a 1-day ban from this show.
So
but he got us. Here's what's funny.
He did. That's a good one because that's a perfect one right there.
It is because it's believable. Because
damn right
it wouldn't surprise any of us. And here's the thing. He's going to go from if Demezy stays at Indiana and works himself into the lineup it literally could be one of the best, it could be one of the best turnaround stories to go to Indiana in a long time, because he is, in 2 years, he's not shown the ability to be able to play at that level. And, if somehow he can work his butt off over the summer, I mean, it's not like he's, 5'10". I mean, he's got the physical attributes to do it. He just has to go do it. You know what, though? And you will have an interest in this. Did you see Sean East is in the transfer portal, though?
I did. Yes, I should.
Saw that a week ago.
And he was contacted by, about 20 schools, most of them what I would call mid-majors, virtually all of them mid-majors, except for one glowing difference, Creighton.
Yeah, I mean,
Creighton was on his list. Let me tell you, and I said it then, if Creighton offered me and I'm him, you better jump on that.
Yeah, I'd be headed that direction. Where are they at, Nebraska or somewhere like that?
You know what? I think that they are, but, man, they're a top 10 team.
Yeah, they're a team that has proven they're going to run up and down the floor. They're going to score a lot. I mean, they're a fun team to watch. They look like a fun team to play for. Coach McDermott looks like just a good person to want to play for. That'd be a great place to go.
And how funny would it be, because he would end up playing, if that were the case, he'd end up playing on better teams than Romeo did.
Possibly.
I'm just saying, man, from a success.
He had a great freshman year last year. I mean, I think he averaged like 13 points.
I thought it was, it was incredible.
Was it more than that?
It may have been, but I don't remember. But you're right.
That's a lot for a true freshman. Dude.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's UMass. It's not like it's the smallest school in the world either. So they're up there battling in the Northeast. And so, that's pretty impressive, to be honest with you. I mean, he's going to find his place. And you got to take your hat off to him. This kid has fought this stuff since day one for whatever reason, and I don't get it. He was next to Romeo for all that time, and you would have thought with all those coaches seeing him because of that, it would have helped him. But for whatever reason, it hurt him. And I don't understand why, but it certainly hurt him because he's had to go through the longest route of getting to where he's getting to.
Yeah, I mean, him in high school, I mean, they list him right now. I mean, he's in the transfer portal at 6'3", 175. And like, I don't think you would argue the fact that when he also spent a year away at a prep school for a year before he went this. I mean, he's Romeo's year. So, he spent a year at a prep school. So he's a year older than the other freshmen. And at 175, I mean, I think you'd agree. He probably graduated from high school at 140, 145.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so thin, like
he turned sideways and disappeared.
Most schools were going to overlook him just because of his size. But to get to 175, he's quick. He's good with the ball. He can make the runners. He can shoot. Like he'll get picked up. There's no question.
Yeah, and congratulations to him because like I said, he's put in the work.
He has,
and when you put that much effort in, you deserve everything you get.
No doubt.
I saw there was a ESPN put out a poll yesterday to pick your favorite coach that wasn't real, and they listed all these coaches like the guy from Friday Night Lights and this and that. But they listed Herman Boone from Remember the Titans, and Zach Osman caught it pretty quick. He says, well, that's a real guy. He was. I mean, it wasn't. He was a real person. I mean, obviously Denzel Washington's not, but he's playing a real person. All these other were fictitious coaches. Every one of them.
What was the coach's name in
Herman Boone
in Blue Chips? What was Nick Nolte's name in Blue Chips? Because that was a real person. He wore the same jacket. He acted the same. Yeah, he looked pretty similar to the person I knew.
Man, I don't know if I can find it, but I had a picture of me and Nick Nolte when he was trailing Bob Knight back then. I got it right outside the locker room. He was typical Hollywood guy. Had a trench coat, and his hair was just like crazy. It was like, wow, these guys are funny.
Yeah, he spent. I want to say it was 3 months, but I know it was at least 2 months. He was with us in every meeting, like every time we watched film, every practice, everything that we did. He trailed Coach Knight and was basically his shadow for at least a couple of months. And it was just weird because no one gets access to that kind of stuff. I mean, when he's throwing chairs at us in the locker room and whipping VCRs around, like frisbees. I mean, generally people don't get to see that stuff, but Nick Nolte was there for all of it.
How did you not get in the movie?
I didn't graduate yet. You could only do it if you graduated.
You were still in. Oh,
like
man.
Nover's character was supposed to be a guard. Nover's character would have been like the typical Indiana guard.
Would have been you.
It would have been.
He took your part, man.
He did, but but I was still there for another year, so I couldn't be in it.
Could have left school and became a Hollywood star.
They had Bobby freaking Hurley wearing my jersey in that uniform.
Oh my God!
That son of a bitch is sitting in the other room in here. I won't get it out.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh man, you gotta hang it up.
Back out. No,
gotta hang it up.
No, it's
because of that, really.
Yeah, it's tainted for a life.
Oh my God, it's great. Oh man, that would have been incredible to be able to be in that though. It had to be fun for those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was cool. They got to go around and, they got to hang out at night, like Shaq and Penny Hardaway and those guys were hanging out in Frankfort, Indiana. Like it was, and Nover talked about them going to bars and stuff. And it was pretty funny.
Can you imagine being in a bar in Frankfort, Indiana and looking up and here comes Matt Nover, first of all, because you're going to know him. He's an IU guy.
Right.
But then right behind him comes Penny Hardaway and Shaquille O'Neal.
Right.
You look around and go like, what? That would be weirder than being in this coronavirus right now.
Yeah, you would almost, you would know something crazy was going on. But, it was a cool time. Like that was a fun thing. That's one of the things you would not expect Coach Knight to allow to happen or to be a part of. But the fact that he did, I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was fun having those guys there. A lot of the fun part was talking to the TV or the camera crews and the producers and stuff like that, because they could tell stories about actors and different things that we were grilling them about questions. They were trying to ask us questions about, what is Coach Knight? What's one of his things he says a lot? And they were trying to get characteristics for Nick Nolte to be a lot like him. And he was in a lot of regards, but it's almost impossible to reenact that human.
Yeah, that would have been fun doing that deal, but we'll have to get Nover on and let him tell some stories one day. Surely he's got some that he can tell now.
He's a dud. He's a dud.
Yeah, well, he may be, but he's got it. Surely we can find one good story out of him. Hopefully.
You know what? If you could get his stories and give them to like Brian Evans and let Brian tell them, they'd be better.
Yeah, but that would take all day.
Yeah, it would take all day, but they'd be good stories. Nover's just a dud storyteller.
Oh man, but man, what a fun time that had to be back then. Oh my gosh, that just cracks me up. Frankfurt, the Frankfurt, they're the hot dogs.
The Frankfurt hot dogs, I know that.
A buddy of mine, Pete, he's always on when we do the after shows, he jumps on there. But yeah, he's from Frankfurt. I remember going there, but what a cool gym for a high school.
It's an awesome gym.
I mean, can you imagine playing in that for 4 years? That's like playing in a mini college.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great. I mean, that's like one of the things, you see a place like that and you would take someone that's from out of state, let's say from like Georgia or Alabama or somewhere, and you go to a high school game and you go to a gym like that and they're like, what in the world? And to us, it's just another gym in Indiana.
Yeah, you can go from Frankfurt and go over to Knightstown and see two of the most famous gyms.
Yeah,
that's been in a long, long time in the movies. They've all been right here. So, that's pretty cool.
And then the biggest gym in the world in Newcastle.
That's Seymour. Thank you very much. Seymour, part of the Hoosier Hills Conference.
I just love hearing you correct me every time I say that.
Don't worry, I know. Well, it used to be Newcastle because they were cheating, and we found out they were cheating, miscounting. They couldn't count their seats.
We found out like you were a part of the county crew.
Yes, I was walking around sitting in every one of those seats.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got the boys all-star team. We talked about that. We're going to talk about later on. Back to actual vote. I had to vote yesterday. Get that voting is due today. So there will be a team determined, and it's going to be determined strictly on the votes. It's not going to be much different. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
I can't imagine from what like my votes. I'm like, who else would you put on there? Nobody. Right. There's just so much talent next year. Oh my gosh. Looking down that talent list there now, that's some great talent. But next year it's even crazier. I mean, it just gets deeper. I think. The 2021 class is nuts, but you do feel for someone like Christian Lander because he's going to be on neither of these lists.
Yep. Yeah, I know. That's like we talked about the other day. that's one of the very difficult decisions. I mean, if you had an opportunity to go to IU or go to any college, but go to IU and play a year sooner, as a kid, you would definitely want to go do it. But there are some, glaring cons to the whole situation. And one of those is not being a part of the Indiana All-Star team. That's a title that you have for the rest of your life. I mean, you'd always be introduced as, an Indiana All-Star or Mr. Basketball or whatever it might be. And, that's one of the differences. But it's also, if his goal is to get to the NBA, and let's say him going to IU gets him in the NBA a year faster, that's a $10 million decision. And, I think most people would trade their Indiana All-Star uniform for $10 million. And I don't mean that to be a jerk. I'm just saying.
You're exactly right. You're being pragmatic, and it's the truth. It's the truth. Everybody don't always want to hear the truth, but that is the flat out truth. And it's just how it is. And Ryan mentioned, we were talking about Creighton earlier. He said Creighton puts around 16,000 more people in the stands during their games too. So we'll look forward to it. We got a lot coming up here on the program. Indiana Sports Beat, Coyle O'Leary coming back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios with Mo Creek up next here, powered by Rivals. We're back with all that and more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship shows, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Ryan Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
You're on the line with Jamal Meeks, former Indiana Hoosier, number 23, 1992. And I'm on the beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary coming to you, of course, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Powered by Rivals. Make sure you go to thehoosier.com, sign up for a free account there. All the shows are going to be carried there, and we got a lot of content coming from a lot of former IU players coming up soon. We're going to make a nice big announcement soon. Mo Creek's going to be joining us shortly here, hopefully, as he managed to get back from across the pond safely into the United States. There's several former IU guys that were playing overseas that I know we talked to Jordan. He made it back, of course, and Mo Creek. And there's several other guys I looked to check on that I think I saw one was still stuck somewhere yesterday.
Didn't you say Nick Zeisloff?
Yeah, I think that he was stuck somewhere yesterday. I'm not sure where. I can't remember where that was. But
boy, I cannot imagine. I mean, just when you think you've got it bad here with the lockdown or stay-at-home policy, I cannot possibly imagine that being overseas. I mean, that would just be – although, had it been my last year in Cyprus, I lived on a beach, and it was 85 degrees every day.
Now, wouldn't that be incredible? That would – you're like, I'm sorry, folks, I'm stuck on this beach at 85-degree weather, and I can't leave.
Yeah, the difference would be I'm sure you wouldn't be getting paid, and if there's nowhere to go, literally being back here in the United States is – I mean, I'd rather be right here at the point where I can walk out the door and play golf every day.
Well, I noticed yesterday, Louisville basketball coach Chris Mack posted a photo. He was on a beach down in Florida with his wife.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, and somebody posted it. It didn't come across as being it seemed more like, sorry, folks, we're on the beach here. And I know that wasn't in the intended.
You know, if that came from Calipari, that's how I would take it. I just don't take Chris Mack that way.
No, that's what I'm saying. It did not. I know that's how it was not intended. You know that's, but yeah, it's just, but yeah, that would be great to be stuck there.
Yeah,
Jake?
Nope.
All right. We'll keep waiting for Mo. Man, 2 days in a row, that would really stink to get stood up 2 days in a row.
Yeah. Well,
but what do you do?
Maybe they're distancing themselves from their phones.
That's very, very possible. Frank Reich had one of the funniest comments that I've ever heard on his starting quarterback. Jake brought this to our attention. Jake, you want to read that? Because I don't have the exact quote.
Well, let me just preface it.
This is on Old Man Rivers.
This made me feel really good about myself. And this is uplifting for our listeners because this made me feel really good about myself again.
Todd ready to go try
it
out.
It wasn't actually the quote. It was the headline for the story.
Headline.
Yeah, it was White Colts coach believes Phillip Rivers is elite despite interceptions, age, and lack of mobility.
I mean, if we're not factoring in lack of mobility and age, I still got a shot.
Man, you're in.
I still got a shot.
Go Jersey up.
I'm more built like a tight end-ish / fat lineman now, but I could do so. I mean, lack of mobility and age not a factor. I scrap with them in there a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. While we got this little extra time here, I was going to talk about this in the next segment. We'll talk about it now. We talked a lot about the boys all-star vote team, whether or not there was going to be a team. We were concerned because, like the NCAA tournament selection committee, a lot of people would like to have seen them go ahead and fill the field just so they'd have something to argue about. But they are going to do that with the boys all-star team, and I think that they should. And I'm glad to see that they are. Voting due today. I got my votes in yesterday. I'll tell you who I voted for. I won't tell you in what order because the number one vote, it goes to Mr. Basketball. But some of the people that I voted for, let's see, of course, the Galloway and the Leal and Tony Perkins. Those three guys, to me, are without question the top three players in the state this year. They play on – well, definitely Tony Perkins, to me, played on the best team in the state. I don't know that Anthony Leal and Bloomington South couldn't have beat him but we don't know that. That's the thing.
Sure.
And that's what makes it, to me, the most difficult thing for Mr. Basketball this year, because you mentioned, Bloomington South doesn't play the schedule that Lawrence North plays, and it's true. There are differences there. And Bloomington South didn't lose. Lawrence North did. It's like you can go back and forth.
Sure.
And so it makes it so much more difficult for me this year. But Nigel Pack, Dre Davis, Trey Coleman, Kyron Powell, Mabor Majik, Charlie Yoder, Maximus Jizzy, those guys, to me, they're 10 players that I voted for the All-Star team. I think that those are 10 guys that would have been on that team no matter what the situation was.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think, don't they do it now where you vote for 10 and then either the committee or coach or somebody has the ability to put 2 extra guys on there?
Probably
that the way it's done?
I would guess, because 10 seems a little short. I was always thinking 12.
No, they always have 12. So
yeah.
I think they reserve the ability, just in case the voting is that screwed up, to include a couple of guys on there that and
sometimes what it allows is the coach to put one of his own players on.
And I don't think that happens very often. But it definitely gives it that option. And over the years, I don't think there's been a ton of crazy discrepancies over, who should have been on and who did or didn't make it. But, it can be a big difference. I mean, it can, it makes a big difference in how you're viewed later down the road. I mean, like people nowadays will remember guys from back in the 80s and talk about, they made the All-Star team. And, you get a lot better as time goes by. People tend to forget some of the things you weren't good at, and they just remember good things that you did, which is kind of nice.
And then, of course, like I said, the Mr. Basketball race, I think that there's no doubt, obviously, it's going to come down between those 3. I mean, Anthony Leal's probably the favorite. You hear lots about him, probably more about him. He's on an undefeated team in Bloomington. He's going to IU. He's got a lot of things on his side that don't really matter to Mr. Basketball, but let's be honest, they do matter. So Trey Galloway, though, he's as good a candidate as anybody as well. I mean, I look at that kid and he really embodies that award. So you can't go on. And Tony Perkins, I think, is the best player on the best team in the state. So, man, you couldn't go wrong with any of those 3. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah, you can even look at Lawrence Central, and you can look at the 2 players they've got on there. I mean, those 2 guys are, the top 5 players in the state. I don't think there's any question about that, and they're both in there. So you can make those arguments. If you took one of those 2 guys, look at it this way: you take one, Nigel Pack, or I can't remember the other guy's name.
Dre Davis.
You take those 2 guys off of Lawrence Central's team and put them on, Silver Creek, for example. Or you put them on, a school where there's not another Division I player on that team, and their point averages are going to go way up, and they're going to look a lot better than what their averages were right now. And that's just fact, the way it is.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the honest truth. Looking forward to see how that comes out. It would be great if they got to play the game. I don't see that happening now. Obviously I don't think it's been canceled for sure yet, but
didn't we just see that? Didn't IU just cancel all activities through July 31st?
Yes, they have canceled. Everything.
If that's and they don't base it off of IU, but I mean, if that's already happening right now, I can't see. Well, you know what? It'll kind of depend on the NBA thing. I think it'll depend on if the NBA comes back and starts playing in June. I think it's possible.
Well, plus with the IU thing, you've got the campus and all the students that would be here. So you've got a lot more that you'd have to deal with in regards to an all-star game where it'd just be at one arena. So hopefully they get to that point to where we can play that game. I mean, we're months away.
Did you see the University Police and Bloomington Police had to break up 3 parties on the IU campus last night?
Yep. 2 of them were kind of small. They were 10 to 20 people, but the other one was like 200 people.
Come on, kids.
I have no desire to be around 200 people. I'm like, are you nuts? I will run away from I went to the store yesterday, and it was all I could do to stay away from people, and it wasn't hard, but I'm like, I don't want anybody near me, man. I made it this far, and I want to make it. And kids and I can't blame them. I'm not going to say that when I was 19 or 20 that I wouldn't have been right there in that mix.
I know.
I won't say it. I probably would have been because I was as big an idiot as any kid. And you look back and you're like, wow, why were you so stupid? But we just are. We just were. And it's like, so I can't. You want to yell at them, but then you stop and think, hey, I was just as big an idiot. What are you talking about?
I know. We made everybody made dumb decisions. It's just crazy that the timing for that is bad.
It's funny though. You look back now and you shake your head, but you look at your parents or whoever other that they used to shake your head at, and you're like going, "What's wrong with those idiots?" And now you're like, "Well, they weren't the idiot. I was the idiot."
Yep, no doubt.
Fun times, man. Fun times. I mentioned earlier, Indiana lost the 2020 simulated tournament last night. Finally, lost to Gonzaga 88-77.
Who's still in it? Who's still
you know what? That's a good question. I haven't been following it. I just saw the IU thing.
Jake, you know who's in it?
And IU canceling all that events, that also cancels all the camps, like Archie's camps and basketball camps and things like that.
Oh, my. Oh, yeah.
So all that stuff is affected. All that stuff is affected.
You know what that's big on? So Archie's camp is one thing, but the soccer camp is huge. I know the baseball camp's pretty big now. That's a big deal when it comes. Swimming is big. Gosh, that's a big deal.
And I know people think, oh, the coaches are going to lose money or not. That's not the deal. It's also a nice little recruiting tool. You get kids in, you can see them, you can kind of start building relationships with kids.
I don't know if they still do it or not, but don't they also have a thing? I know they did it like 10 years ago or so when Crean was here, where they brought in guys, like top 25 guys from across the country, like high school, like juniors and seniors and sophomores from across the country. Do they still do that?
I don't know if they're still doing that.
I don't feel like I've seen
Indianapolis. They do a lot of things, but yeah,
I know.
I
worked one of Crean's camps when they brought in guys from across the country, and I mean there were some really good players in there.
I know that oh gosh, dang, I forgot what I was even going to say. This thought just left my head, but yeah, that affects a lot and a lot of kids. I mean, a lot of kids look forward to that stuff, but it's same for everybody. It's just unfortunate. You're going to have to miss out, and hopefully the things you miss out on now will allow us to get back to being normal a lot faster. But we talk about those parties and this other stuff, but trying to get back too soon, then it's just going to make this last a lot longer, and nobody wants that, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've all got to do our part. I know we all keep saying that, and the situation last night with the kids at IU. I mean, hopefully that's just because, you mentioned school started 2 days ago. And so, back from spring break. So hopefully it's just a one-time thing and they all wanted to get back amped up. I mean, given it was only a Tuesday night, I don't know that that's going to be the case, but, hopefully it's just one of those situations that, they learn from it and move on and start behaving properly.
Yeah, and then the state track meet was scheduled to be held in Bloomington on the IU campus.
Really?
So that won't. So they're either going to have to cancel that or move that, and then of course moving a thing of that size is always difficult in and of itself.
Well, they could still have it on the campus. They just canceled actual IU.
No, I don't think you're allowed to be. You're not allowed to use the facilities, anything.
Well, I don't know. So don't have a good answer for that.
Yep, lots up. We're going to get Taylor on here shortly if we can't get to Mo. I don't know what happened to Mo. Mo's been on with us several times, so hate to see that happen, but we'll talk about yesterday. I know that Nick Westbrook, Raekwon Jones, and Simon Stepanak met with reporters. I was on the call with them because those guys are trying to get to the NFL, man. They're trying to improve their craft, but are in a holding period right now.
So what was you were on the call, what did they talk about?
Talk about what they're doing, the things that they can try to do, their agents, and what their agents are talking about, and do you think the draft's going to happen, and this and that. Just all the silly questions that all the silly questions that get asked. But mainly is, talking to them about the mental side of things too, is, they're trying to move into this important, very uber important time of their life that requires training and a mental, and the mental aspect of it is probably just as big as the physical part of it. And so, man, how difficult can that be to deal with right now through all this?
Well, I saw the draft happens in April. Is that correct?
I think so.
Sometime in April, and
it's scheduled to go on.
It's scheduled to go on. It was supposed to be in Vegas. Last year, you remember the scene in Nashville last year when one of the craziest draft situations I've ever seen. That was awesome looking. Remember how many people were lining the streets in Nashville last year? And I think Vegas was going to try to, emulate that and have something fairly similar to that. And now, obviously, that's not going to be the case. But it'll be a totally different. I mean, they won't even have anybody there, right? Like
no. No. Yeah,
no. I mean like the draft picks.
Yeah, no. Oh, no one will be there. It's going to be the weirdest thing ever. I mean, but everything is going to be. I mean, we might as well just keep saying that about everything. I don't know when we're going to get back to sports, and then I don't know when we're going to get back to sports with people in the stands. I think it's going to be a phase thing. I don't think both things are going to happen at the same time. I think sports will return.
But I'd take it. I mean, we thought.
Yeah, right. We'll take it.
We thought when they said there were not going to be any fans at the Big Ten tournament, we were like, oh, this is going to be weird. And now we would beg for that scenario.
Oh my God.
Right now. Just anything to watch.
Yeah, and we don't even need to be there as the media. I'm cool with watching it on TV.
Totally. I'm telling you right now, golf is the one to me that I think could really pick up the slack right now, because those guys can stay distanced from each other. They can, as long as you and your caddy are test negative, you won't be that close to anybody else for the entire round of golf. They don't have to have fans. I mean, it'll be weird, but that's the one thing I think could pick up the slack. Now, I know what most people say with that is watching golf on TV is not all that exciting, but to some of us it is, because I would love to watch it.
Well, anything's exciting when there's nothing else too.
When there's nothing else on, yeah.
And there's enough people that do find it watchable that I promise you there'll be plenty of friends watchers picking up. But you're right. It may be a grand opportunity for the PGA, for golf, for the game of golf itself. I mean, you've seen it with people out on the course at Eagle Point playing. I mean, man, you give them an opportunity with the weather-wise, and they're out there because that's the only thing that there is to do,
right?
To get out, especially. So, and the weather's about to turn well, you pointed out.
I'm looking forward. It says 70 degrees from Friday on for several days, so I'm looking forward to that.
Tim said NBA may – we talked about that earlier. The NBA looking at possibly a 16-team playoff in one place. Can you imagine? That would be unbelievable. And Louisville is one of the places they mentioned.
But if they set that up, similar to like an NCAA regional site or something like that, where you've got, 4 games in a day, or even if they just had 2 games in a day. I mean, that it would be so weird, but honestly, I think it would have a chance at really saving this season and saving, the sanity for a lot of people. I do not watch the NBA, and I'm the first one to admit it. I generally don't watch a lot of NBA games throughout the year, but given the circumstances and the climate of the world where we're at, I think almost everyone would watch it. Even people that don't really watch sports that much would watch it.
I agree with you, man. I agree wholeheartedly. Tim texts in and says, "Why didn't Todd take the job at coaching job in Southern Indiana? They're looking for a coach." So there you go. There's an open coaching job down there.
All right, I'll send my application.
Yeah.
Who sent that in?
That was from Tim. I thought he was banned.
Is he out of the penalty box? We let him out of the penalty box already?
He mentioned Trey Kaufman said that he said Indiana's young, that he would have a spot when he gets there, and he knows a lot of the players. Talking about Indiana, and he's looking at Indiana, Purdue, Louisville, I think Cincinnati. Kid from Silver Creek, one of the best teams in the state. And there's a guy that's going to be a front runner for Mr. Basketball next year, especially now with Christian Lander out of the picture.
He's really rooting for Christian Lander to go a year early.
There would, even though that class is loaded, he's probably the leader of that class. I mean, he won the Gatorade Player of the Year this year as a junior, so almost automatically puts him in the number 1 spot going into the next year.
Totally agree.
We got lots more coming up here on the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary back with more Powered by Rivals right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hey, this is Jordan Halls, former Indiana Hoosier. Keep up with Indiana sports on Indiana Sports Beat.
The dogs begin to bark.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat, of course, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. And Jake's not picking up on the fact that I can hear nothing. He's smiling at me, Jake, but I can hear nothing. There you go. Okay. Well, it didn't make me feel better, but I still couldn't hear anything. Joined now by Taylor Lehman from thehoosier.com. Taylor, how are you, brother?
I'm good. How are you doing, Jim?
Good now. After I got a little confused there. I couldn't hear anybody, man. Hey, yesterday, the guys, Simon Stepanak, Raekwon Jones, Nick Westbrook, the three guys that are trying to move their craft from IU football onto that next level, met with reporters and talked about the difficulty of doing that through all of this craziness that we're all dealing with, which it's the same for everybody, but that doesn't help those three guys, man, as they're really looking to make the biggest move of their life.
Yeah. I mean, when you consider how, I guess, how difficult it's been for some, Hoosiers who can't go to the combine to make it onto an NFL squad. I really feel for Nick Westbrook and Raekwon Jones. And the whole time I was listening to Nick Westbrook talk, I was thinking about how bad of luck he's had in his career, man. I mean, he had a great season in 2016 where he was honorable mention All Big Ten, almost 1,000 yards. He had 995, and then the next season, the opening kickoff tears his ACL, and it's clearly trying to prove that he still has what he had in 2016. And I think part of it is still there. So I think he's definitely trying to show that he's still that guy and he can still play in the NFL and he has the intelligence to do it certainly, but does he have the body to do it? And I think that's kind of hard to show on video. And so, I feel for him. It's an incredibly bad stroke of luck here for him specifically.
Yeah. And unfortunately for him, being a deep threat, the offense didn't favor deep threats this past season. Didn't get a lot of opportunities to show his capabilities on that level either. So he's hurt in that regard. But at least I guess the fact that he battled back through a pretty tough injury for a guy in that position, and he came through pretty well with that. And I think that shows a lot for his future.
Yeah, no, I agree. The biggest play you think of when you think of this past season was a 75-yard catch from Mike Penix, and I think most people are excited about Penix's arm on that play than they were about Nick Westbrook catching a deep ball. So, the thing that I was thinking when you consider Indiana's passing targets is I think when people get excited about Watt Fillier and they get excited about the young guys, they get excited about Ty Freifogel, they get excited about Rashawn Williams coming in. I think it's easy to forget that Donovan Hale and Nick Westbrook were incredibly important security blankets for the passing offense. When there were no other options, you could still go to those guys. There were times when they disappeared, yeah, but if the passing game was hitting a rock bottom, it was Nick Westbrook and Donovan Hale making plays. Now I remember specifically Donovan Hale taking over a drive against Michigan State. Nick Westbrook I think he had 6 catches against Purdue, if I remember right. And those two guys were just incredibly important. And now those two guys graduate. People don't really think about how the wide receiving core is going to struggle after graduation this season. But I think guys just going to have to step up in the passing game next year because Nick Westbrook and Donovan Hale, who have been here forever, aren't going to be here in 2020.
Yeah, and then Simon Stepanek, a lineman. I guess I don't know if it's a little easier for him, but his prospects may be better to be able to present for his future.
Yeah, he was. I mean, obviously he had the second best bench press of offensive linemen, so that number certainly jumps out to teams. Just the person that he is, the interviews. He couldn't do any lower body stuff or anything that involved, most work that offensive linemen do includes their legs. So he couldn't do any of that stuff. But the bench press number was big, and the interview was important. And he said that he's just been writing on notebooks on FaceTime and stuff like that, just like showing teams that he has the knowledge to play the game. It's just that he can't show right now that he can physically do it, even though team doctors have looked at his leg and they're all happy about his recovery. He said he should be ready by camps in the summer and all recovered. He's in Ohio and working at Athletico in Hamilton in his hometown. So with Simon, it's one of those things where he's seen some of these Indiana alumni go to the NFL. From the offensive line, so and most recently Wes Martin, who plays a really similar position as him. So I think I think teams take that into account too. So I think he has a better chance than maybe the other two guys. But yeah, I think, and especially when you look at the way that Indiana played when Simon couldn't play against Tennessee. Obviously, they played pretty well against Nebraska. Nebraska's pass rush wasn't particularly good this year. Their rushing defense, their whole front seven was a little disappointing this year. Nebraska's was. So Indiana could get by there, but playing in Tennessee without Simon Stepanek, it was pretty clear that Simon Stepanek had a pretty big role on the interior of that offensive line.
Yeah, and so now what do these guys do as far as trying to perfect their craft? There's no place to train. All these training facilities are shut down, and you can't work with other guys hardly, and it's so difficult. We've seen guys like Raekwon. He talked about down in Florida, there's a couple of them they can get together, but it's warmer down there, obviously, so some people will have a lot more opportunities, and it's just a very difficult situation for these guys.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, when it's kind of weird. Nobody's really been in a situation like this before. So, even some NFL teams are struggling and things too. So it's one of those things where um, you just got to get creative, and I think the most creative people are going to win out. And I know Nick Westbrook was talking about using sandbags that his dad uses for photography. His dad does photography for Disney, and he uses sandbags there, and he works out with his mom, and he's back in Florida, and then Raekwon Jones said that it's basically if you can find a field, then you hop a fence. He's been working out with Jonathan Crawford and Donovan Hale, and Simon Stepaniak. Obviously, he's doing his thing in Ohio, but yeah, no, it's odd because when gyms are closed in the private sector, and then they're also closed for the teams that you work for. It's like, where do you go now? And I know Raekwon Jones is basically relegated to some body weight exercises and running and stretches and core stuff, and there's a lot more that goes to weight training than just those things. But I know Nick Westbrook said that he's actually excited if he gets to the NFL. He's excited to be able to say that he kind of went through this period with all the other football players, but this class specifically, I don't think it's ever been as difficult for players from Indiana to get into the NFL as it is right now because, you know, other guys, they've had those opportunities. Scouts have been able to come and watch them at the pro days. Pro day was canceled this year. So Nick Westbrook, Raekwon Jones, Donovan Hale, those guys can't get in front of NFL scouts. They did for a while. I know, obviously Nick Westbrook went to the Shrine Bowl. Raekwon Jones went to the Tropical Bowl, and they were in front of NFL scouts then, and they were working with other guys in the class and things like that. But yeah, it's different. It's different when you aren't, one of just like five guys there. It's different. So yeah, I mean, they're just gonna have to get creative with it. I think it's gonna be a day-to-day thing and a case-by-case thing. And Aaron Wellman was talking about it even within Indiana's own program. It's all dependent on what you have. And I know Indiana's still working with those guys, the guys that graduated from the program. They're still working with them to try to get them in the best shape they can. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough for those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also look at other areas like we've talked about AAU basketball things because we're very close to that. A lot of that stuff would have been starting now this month.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know how deep it's going to go into that. If not, the entire AAU season is in jeopardy of being. We don't know that. I mean, I don't know that. I can't begin to predict that, but it's upon us now. So there's no reason to think that that's not going to be greatly affected and maybe completely.
Yeah, and I mean it's and not only that, but also with Indiana suspending a lot of on-campus activity until July 31st. I mean that's not even just within their athletics program; it's within other areas as well. Like the high school track state meet is always in Bloomington. That's not going to take place this year in Bloomington because the July 1st deadline. So, it has people concerned about even football season. So, we don't really know how far this is going to go. We don't really know how far out this is going to go. We don't know. And obviously with the COVID situation, we don't know if it's going to go away in the summer, come back in the fall, or if it's going to stay in the summer and go all the way through the fall. All these things are still unknown, even though it feels like, just a few weeks ago within the last few weeks, more answers should be known. There aren't a whole lot more answers that have been discovered, just more tests that have been tested positive. And so it's really concerning for everyone involved, even sports writers.
Yeah, and then as we look forward to the football season, Indiana, I think that they may have come through this. I think they may be in the best position they could have possibly been with this thing happening off of last season because they have a ton of confidence and they have a ton of production coming back. Now, obviously, they're not getting to work together, but the fact that you know what you have coming back and that it's a lot of good, that's bodes very well for this team in next season.
Yeah, and I know when it comes to recruiting and people are really concerned about recruiting through this whole thing too. Indiana, they're going to have a really small class. So we thought they were going to have a small class in 2020. That ended up expanding a little bit. Classes always expand a little bit, but I think 2021 is going to be even smaller than 2020. So that means that if Indiana has its eyes on some specific guys and it's gotten in early with some of them, I think of Donovan McCulley, the Lawrence North quarterback. I think of some guys down in Florida. They're it's gonna be more difficult for some other teams who can typically come in and swoop players to come in and swoop players because they can't really get them on campus because a lot of guys are hoping to commit before their senior years. Now that's all getting thrown out the window. They're gonna have to commit during their senior years unless they feel comfortable with a program already. And so it's one of those things where it's always case by case, but I think even now it's even more case by case. It's just relationship by relationship. It's more like position by position by program, and so there's a lot of things that get involved there. Yeah, as far as Indiana, going into this offseason, I mean, you return so much young talent. You don't lose a whole lot. Obviously, they lost a lot on the coaching staff front. That's kind of tough for Indiana to create what Tom Allen likes to do is create one whole staff, one whole team. They're all interconnected in very specific ways. That's hard to do when you're not around each other in person during the off season. And obviously right now, I guess it wouldn't be right now, it'd be in a couple of weeks, all the coaches would be on the recruiting trail while Aaron Wellman would have all of the players in Bloomington. So if you don't get that, then that holistic approach to the weight room even isn't necessarily there. So I think they're just really trying to create something as far as connectivity goes through different apps and things like that. But I think it is important for Indiana to have a lot of young guys to kind of carry the torch throughout all of this, and I think they are, and I think that's a positive moving through this whole uncertain time.
You couldn't be more right, man. I couldn't agree with you more, Taylor. I appreciate you joining us, and look forward to doing it again soon. Hopefully we got more to talk about as it keeps coming out, but we'll do it, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on, Jim.
Absolutely. Make sure you follow Taylor on Hoosier.com. We got plenty of new content coming out there, and we'll look forward to it. Taylor, thank you, sir. I appreciate you, brother.
Yep, thank you.
You bet. There's Taylor Lehman from Hoosier.com joining us. We got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary, coming back to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals, right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hey, it's Michael Lewis, former Indiana University player and current UCLA assistant basketball coach, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals. Make sure you go to thehoosier.com, sign up, it's free. Lots of great content coming. Going to make a big announcement there soon on that. Todd Leary, it's just one of those miserable days. You can't play golf. You can't go out and shoot hoops. You can walk.
Whoa. What was that first thing you said?
Play golf.
Huh. You must be crazy. Can today. Hey,
I got nothing but mad respect for you if you're out there. I mean,
it's going to hit the 50 mark. It used to be 60. 60 used to be my threshold, but
I was going to say, I thought you had
for the coronavirus, I have lowered my standards, obviously, and now it's 50. And once it hits 50 this afternoon, I will make my appearance.
How is the game, by the way?
This is the most I've practiced in so long. I have to say, pretty good. Decent.
It's funny. I touched on this yesterday, and it's actually true. I mean, your golf game is going to benefit.
It sure is.
But there's other guys. But we talked to the spring sport athletes. They're going to benefit from this. They're going to be bigger, stronger, faster, and better at what they're doing.
No question about it.
There will be some benefits. There's just so many negatives that it's hard to see those positives right now. Is all I guess.
Yeah, and I mean those benefits are, we're gonna learn about them and see them, pretty sparingly in certain individuals in certain situations. The obvious negatives we see every day, and the amount of deaths and everything. I mean, obviously it's out of control. It's just something I've never dealt with in my lifetime. That's for sure.
Nope, not at all. We look forward to Indiana's basketball team now. We know that Deron Davis and Devontae No-Show Green is leaving. But we know what's coming in. At least we know 3/4 of what is coming in for sure in Trey Galloway, Anthony Leo, Jordan Geronimo, and the possibility of adding Christian Lander to that. And I would be surprised if that doesn't happen. So
it's happening.
Let's just talk that it is happening. All right, those 4 guys are coming in. You've got Armand Franklin. You've got Al Durham and Rob Fennessy. That's a lot of guys playing a lot of the similar roles and a lot of minutes to be played.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I tell you the difference in all of that is the only real point guard in all of those people that you mentioned is Rob Fennessy and Christian Lander. I mean, those guys, I think you'll look for one of those two guys being on the floor almost all the time. There's really 3 other positions that are, in the running for those other guys. And that's saying that Indiana plays 3 guards. So I'm sorry, there's only 2 other positions that are available for those guys. So, there's going to be a lot of guys battling for that 2-3 guard position. And Armand Franklin is the one who I think this year, has got to show a ton of improvement. I honestly think those other guys coming in, they're not physically better than him, but skill-wise they are, and they shoot the ball better. And that's what you've got. That 2-3 guard position has to be someone that can score the basketball. There's no 2 ways about it. He doesn't have to be your leading scorer. I think Al Durham is probably the perfect example of what you can get away with in that 2-guard position. He can score the basketball from the 3-point line, although he's not great from there, and he can score going to the rim, and he is better from there. So they've just got to improve scoring from that 2 and 3 guard position, and I think the guys coming in will be the guys who will eventually work their way into that lineup.
And with looking at the makeup, the roster makeup, it's really slanting towards tempo next year. I mean, we heard a lot of talk about that this year, and we didn't see it. But next year, they're not going to have a lot of choice. I mean, they're getting smaller as we move forward.
Yeah, and they in the early season, everyone talked about the schedule wasn't great. Indiana averaged, I think it was close to 90 points a game, if not more than 90 points a game for like the first 10 games of the season. And then we all knew it would slow down. I mean, we talked about it on the show. If you've ever watched, multiple seasons of Big Ten basketball, teams probably not going to average 90 points a game in the Big Ten. And so we expected it to slow down. I don't think we expected it to slow down to the point that it did. And I think that's when Indiana got, struggled to score on offense. When they got late in the shot clock, this team struggled to score offensively. And the numbers prove that. That's not me, predicting or my opinion. The numbers prove that. So, it's just it's a situation that I think these guys coming in will definitely change the scope of what this team looks like. One of the guys I think that it makes a difference in how much playing time he's going to be, even though he's going to be a senior, is Justin Smith. I mean, Justin Smith's the guy who's going to have a great year. Otherwise, there's going to be guys on this team that have the ability to get on the floor. And Indiana will be smaller and they won't rebound as well, but they'll be able to score better.
Is this a roster that Archie Miller is wanting, more of a roster that Archie Miller is wanting? Is this more of the style that he's trying to get to?
I think it's the style. I think it's the type of player. I mean, it's guys that are going to play hard all the time. And I'm just going to say this because it's only my opinion. I don't have any inside information on this. But if I just asked you, what's one guy on the team that you would say you still might have to coach effort out of on this team, who would it be?
Effort?
Yeah.
On the team coming back?
On the guys coming back. There's one guy I think that sticks out the most on for me. And at least it looks like he's not playing hard all the time.
Jerome Hunter? I don't know.
I'd say Justin Smith. I mean, Justin Smith to me.
I forgot he was still there.
Right, I know. I mean, he's the one guy that I think.
God, he was still there.
Doesn't you would say doesn't look like he's playing 100% all the time. And if he did, I literally think he'd be unstoppable. I think he could be the best player on this team, and I'm including Trace Jackson Davis. That's how good I think he can be.
His athletic ability is crazy.
It's freakish. There are a lot of guys that are athletic. There are a lot of guys who can do crazy dunks, and there's a lot of guys who can do things. Justin Smith is one of the top 3 athletic players that have ever gone to Indiana, and I firmly believe that's true.
I don't think that there's a block he couldn't make, a rebound he couldn't get.
There's not a rebound he couldn't get.
Or a stop he couldn't make if he really put his mind to it every time.
Yeah, and it's not like he's a skinny body. He's not like a Greg Graham body where he could get pushed around. I mean, he has a LeBron James type body. He really does. And LeBron James is way bigger now than what he was coming out of high school. And, and he didn't go to college. So, I mean, that's kind of the body I'm referencing. But, Justin Smith has that big, thick kind of physical body. You take him and play him at a 3-guard and try to get a 3-guard to guard him in the post. I mean, there's not a 3-guard in the country that could guard him in the post. And that's the kind of thing I just think that, he didn't play smart. He doesn't always play hard. I am saying all this because my expectation level for him is so high. I think he could be that good. I'm not ripping him because I don't like him as a player. I think he could be unbelievable. I just think that I think he's the one guy. Where I was going with all of that was you asked me the question about is this a team Archie Miller is designed to coach a little bit more, and I think it is because I think all the guys coming in, one of the things you're not going to have to worry about is effort. And Rob Finney, you don't have to worry about effort. And Al Durham, I don't think you worry about effort. And Armand Franklin, you don't have to worry about effort. Trace Jackson Davis, not effort. And so you're going to have a whole bunch of guys on a team you're going to have a team full of guys that play hard. And now you're bringing in a little bit more skill and fundamental. I'm super excited about this team for Archie because I really think he's got a group of kids that he's going to really enjoy coaching.
Yeah, and then there's a lot before I forget this, Ron sent a text in. Ron in Scottsdale, Arizona, just wanted to thank us for continuing to broadcast, provide great content. It makes things feel slightly normal and provides some relief in these crazy times. You're having a positive effect way out here in Arizona, and it's appreciated. Ron, we thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we do, because I tell you what, obviously you can tell by the content we're struggling to keep it going, but I mean, you know, it helps us as well. So believe me, we're trying.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Ron, very much. Jordan Geronimo, kind of a forgotten name.
He is, because he's not from Indiana. And I don't get to.
And he may be the best player in this recruiting class. We don't know that.
He may be. That's absolutely right. He might be. You know, here's what in the interview you did with him.
He's the highest rated kid in the recruiting class.
Yeah, that doesn't mean jack. Literally, it doesn't mean anything. And I say that all the time. I'm not saying that to like rip, to rip somebody or because I'm trying to be mean to somebody or whatever. Literally, those rankings would be. Think about trying to rank all the high school kids nationally.
Impossible.
When you really only get to see a certain number of them, like that's impossible.
And not the same person is seeing them all either.
Right. It's impossible to do. And so, you trying to think how hard it was for you to pick the Indiana All-Star, 10 guys in the Indiana All-Star team. You didn't get to go see all 10 guys play 10 games.
Nope.
And so imagine trying to do that nationally. I mean, multiply that times every kid across the country. And it's impossible to do that. So national rankings don't mean a whole lot. And so, when you look at these guys coming in, we don't know what to expect a lot out of Jordan Geronimo. Watching his highlights and his videotapes and those things, I mean, I'd rather watch 5 actual games that he played in. I mean, you can learn a lot more from that than you can a highlight reel. Trust me, I can look at what we could do with a highlight reel for Devontae Green. I mean, he could have a highlight reel that was unbelievable looking, but it doesn't show a lot of the negative things. And so, and I'm not saying that to rip Devontae, even though he no-showed us twice this week, but just overall, I mean, I'm excited about these guys coming in. I really am. Jordan Geronimo, I'm excited to see what he can be.
I'm thinking
Christian Lander will be the one that I want to see. I want to see what he's able to do when he comes in. And I'm assuming he's coming in next year. Rob Finney has kind of established that point guard position at Indiana. And I think everyone felt good when Rob Finney was on the floor at point guard. That's a position he's going to have to come in and steal. And there are a lot of teams across the country, that were very good and fully capable of putting 2 point guards on the floor at the same time, as long as one of them can shoot. And Christian Lander, we know, can shoot. And Rob Finney, I think he's shown the ability to shoot. It's just a consistency issue with him.
Yeah, and every time I think of Jordan Geronimo, I think OG Anunoby. He's got this 7-foot wingspan, freaky big. He could be a defensive whiz. I mean, if he can shoot that ball like I've heard, this could be a really unexpected gem.
It was kind of funny because when you watch him play a little bit, and you may disagree with it. We've not discussed this at all. You may disagree with this completely, and feel free to do so. But we were going to have him on today, but he reminded me a little bit of Mo Creek. His game looked a little bit like Mo Creek was when he was here, and he's kind of that. He's got longer arms, and he's a better than average shooter, but not known as like a Steve Alford shooter. And he's just kind of athletic. Before the injury, Mo Creek was pretty darn athletic. He had one of the most horrific injuries you can have in basketball. And so, that was one of the things I probably would have asked Mo, would have been if he's seen Jordan Geronimo play or if he knows anything about him, because he kind of reminded me of him a little bit.
Well, Mo will be back. He's been on several times. I'm sure something came up with him. We'll get him back on here, but looking forward to it. I know that Friday we've got, we may end up with Mo tomorrow. Just haven't booked tomorrow's guest yet. But on Friday, Tyra Buss is supposed to be with us, so looking forward to talking to Tyra on that as well. So I hope everybody's had a great day, and I hope you have a great day. Go out and do whatever you can, but stay safe along the way and have fun.
Yeah, do whatever you can. Just don't do it around anybody.
Yeah, you say don't do it near us. Do whatever you can, just don't do it near us, right?
Don't do it around anybody.
But we appreciate everybody joining us as always, man, and we'll be back tomorrow with plenty more from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals. Make sure you go to thehoosier.com, sign up for a free account. I got some big announcements coming, some guys that are going to be joining us on there, so you're going to be really excited about it because we are as well. But until tomorrow, for Todd and Jake, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.